Hello everybody and welcome to another GameGuru MAX live broadcast number 73. And before I crack on with any more gabbing, just want to make sure that everyone can hear me loud and clear. So I'm going to look at my live chat off on another of my windows, just to see if anyone can hear me. Already the questions are coming in, which is great. That's what it's about. So welcome if you were live. And also welcome to those who are listening to me in the form of a recording. I just want to make sure that my microphone is coming through to everyone. I can check my own internal measuring sticks and it all looks like I've got some strong microphone volume, so that's great. Thank you, Synchro. You can hear me great. Wonderful. Well, the format of the show. If you are a live chat member, ask me questions if you like, and I'll answer a few of them at the end of this broadcast, and the rest I'll put in the Game Guru forums along with a recording of this broadcast. If you can drop in a little question mark at the end of your sentence, that would be great, because then I can find them very quickly in the live chat. So without further ado, I'm going to run the software, and what am I going to show you today? Well, I'm going to show you the object placement system. Now, you've had an object placement system for months and months and months. Oh yeah, we've added an intro. And we've also reintroduced the welcome screen, and we'll probably cover this in the future once we've got a few more examples. I'm just going to use it to go straight through to my game projects, Lee's game, and this is my game storyboard. I'm going to go to the forest level and get started with my little demonstration. So object placement, generally the idea is, how do you move objects around? How do you place things down? How do you delete things? How do you edit things? Well, we wanted to make sure that the object placement system is brilliant and perfect and intuitive and just makes a lot of sense. So that's been our goal. Work continues on it, but I'd like to show you the progress that I've made so far. I'll start off with stacking, which I think you have seen previous incarnations of. So this is a barrel, typical barrel. I can drop in another barrel and then just drop it on there. We've reintroduced the ghost system, so now when you grab said barrel and move it, you'll actually see a little ghost image of where the barrel's going to be. Same if you drag it back, shows you where it is. So that the idea of that, of course, is that you're now able to make lots of stacks of objects like so. So that's generally the idea of the stacking system. Another thing I want to show you, let's see if I can drop in another, a box will do. I'm going to go over here because this is one I prepared earlier. Remember, well, you know that when you place an object into your scene, it's basically straight, so it's at right angles. It just does a ray cast and it says, right, there you go, there's your barrel. But look what the problem is when I put down my crates. It's unnatural, isn't it? If you were stacking these boxes, it wouldn't look like in a real world. They'd actually follow the terrain. So what we've actually got now for you, if you press the space bar, that's an internal key, you can do this. Now we're going to make this an icon in the editor, so don't worry too much, and make it clear that you're in this mode or not. But you get the idea now. It actually finds the surface that it's sitting on and lines it up. So whether it's the surface of other objects, like a sloped object or something, or the terrain of the landscape itself, and it finds that. And for my purposes, I can obviously go straight back to regular mode, which is what we had before, which is all nice and straight. So leading on from that, because you think that's a really cool technology, what else could you use it for? Well, let me show you. Just go into our building, and I'm just going to line myself up to look at this wall, and I go to another category called switches, and I select a switch. You've now been able to place a switch on a wall, which is great, but what you didn't have before is the ability for the switch to automatically figure out it's on a different wall. So I can put one there, two over here. But look what else I can do. I can put it on this wall, this wall, this wall, this wall, two here. And I don't have to mess about with the rotation key now. The intelligent part of the system is saying, well, I know it's a switch and I know you want it on the wall, so let me just rotate it for you. So you now have that. That's pretty cool. We're going to do something similar with the ceiling, but more about that in the future. Just want to show you the versatility of this system with wall objects, and it's not just switches, it might be like pictures and other things that might be on a surface. You can also put them on the floor. So we've got them here on the floor. You can still put them on surfaces, different directions of surfaces, but you get the idea. The objects are now clever enough to know what kind of object they are and where you would ideally want them placed. Don't worry about that ghost. That's just the player start position. That's where we'll start if we decided to press test game. But got a lot to get through. So that's object placement. A few more things to do, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. Water was typically blue when you get the defaults. I set it to a nice muddy colour. I like it a lot better like this. But what I want to show you, in addition to all the other things, is the new water fog features, which was requested, and so we've added. And basically what this is, it allows you to control how transparent or opaque the water fog effect is. So at the moment you see there's a little bit of a water effect, you can just about see it there. That's because you have a minimum level set. So if I set that to 0, basically it starts off as 0 fog, and all this other sort of foggy mud in the distance, you'll actually see that you can control when it starts, that's how far it is away from the camera, and of course its effect over the longest distance, so I can get it, so it's very subtle indeed. And if you figure out those controls, then you can say, right, I'll make it really muddy. And if I just step it just 1, you see that it starts off completely clear, because we've set this minimum to 0. Then it very quickly descends into the depths and it becomes foggy. And what we mean by fog is that you lose your transparency and it gets replaced with opacity. And that then goes off into whatever colour you've chosen for your watercolour. So we've added that just so you have some control of whether you want a nice transparent lake or you want something that's, you know, full of particulates and cloudy. So that's what I wanted to show you in the main. I now want to switch over to the questions, because I saw a couple of question marks fleet past, and so I want to check that out. I also look at the clock every time I transfer over to the questions, and I think we should have some sort of internal score, because this is the, I don't know, 4th time where I've ended my software intro bit at exactly 11 minutes. I'm sure it's not exactly 11 minutes from the start to end of it, but maybe I've just got this mental conditioning now which has me dragging the chat window after 11 minutes no matter what. So let's look for some questions, shall we? These are some early questions. First one was from DJLS Lee. Preben, will there be some underwater EFX coming next year? I'll leave that for Preben to answer. It would be rude to answer somebody else's question, but I know the answer. Here we go. This is one for me. Thank you very much, Lee. Will the night and day and weather be actioned by March? Weather, definitely yes, because we've already been working on it. The improved weather effects are awesome, so look forward to showing you that. Day and night, we are going to do some work on things like the sun and things, but I think there's a lot of work to do a proper day-night system. I think we'll do some work so you can certainly create day and night levels, but I'm not going to go for the full, we'll give you a complete 24-hour simulator. I'm not going to promise that for March. Okay, looking for another question mark. We're going to dive down a little bit. Did I just jink a bit too far? There we go. Here's from Far Cry. Will we be able to use the simulated clouds in a user-made skybox? No. It's one or the other. You can either simulate the sky, in which case it simulates everything. The horizons, the zeniths, the light scattering, the clouds, the thickness of the clouds, all the rest of it. That's simulated. We generate the whole thing. As soon as you switch to a skybox, that's what's called pre-baked. Some artist has decided what that sky should look like, and so you get the skybox and drop it in. Mixing the two never really works, and so that feature will not be available for the moment in Max. But if you've got a clever idea how those techniques can be mixed, please let me know in the forums later on. Here's a question from Merak JC. Question: will swimming animations be durable in GG Max? Characters in the early access version will not be able to swim. In fact, they won't like the water. They might do a bit of a paddle, but they certainly won't be in the water. They certainly won't be swimming. Just want to let you know in advance of that. And as GameGuru MAX is a first-person perspective game maker, you never see the player. You'll never see the player swimming. So hopefully that's some clarity on the swimming situations. Question from Martin Oliver: when will we be able to add our own grass and trees for the generation system? Yeah, good observation. We have meticulously produced the trees and the grass to make sure that they are super performant, look well, and blend with everything else. That was our responsibility, and we continue to add to that library. But we do intend, we fully anticipate that you will want to bring in your own trees, bring in your own grasses, and bring in your own everything else that we've maybe given you out of the box as a starter kit. But we want to get our techniques right first. So bear with us while we add more trees, because we have a lot of trees in the tree collection. We want to move over to our new tree system, expand the number of grasses so you can have more grasses for the different terrain paint types. We want to kind of do a bit more of that before we open it up so you can just drag in your own trees and grasses and shrubs and things from the outside world. So please bear with us. Here's a question, 2 more questions, same question, or is it different questions? 2 more from Martin. Will we be able to change the grass and tree billboard rendering distance? Billboard tree quality isn't perfect and grass isn't thick enough. Please comment later on in the forums, we'll discuss that. It's more of a technical question. Martin: will water height issue be fixed? You can only set it just pop it in the issues board, we'll treat it as a bug and we'll look at it in more depth and fix it for you, no problems. Here's a question from Veniton and Matos. Lee, when will it be on sale on the Steam platform? We've set a date of March, so there's other literature. I think we did a big announcement on exactly when and wherefore. But I'm not sure the specifics. I just got my head down and thought, let's get cracking, let's make this product great. So check other news feeds for that. I may be wrong. Another question from Martin: will the grass tree generator system be opened up to new users that can import add their? I think I've already answered that. So my answers are pretty thorough, aren't they? Oh yeah, there it is. GameGuru, the officialdom, has just dropped in to give you the exact details. March 25th, 2022. Another question. This is from Ask Hat: when add new VR features? We want to get the basics of the Game Maker first done. We are not thinking too hard about VR. I think once we have this great product, then let's start thinking about VR. But I'm not looking to release the VR for March. At least that's what's in my head. Oh wow! I think we're actually hit to the bottom of the live chat. Last question. Last question. That's very rare that we actually get the last question before I can end this chat. Question: when painting trees, why does it delete the previous painted trees? I painted one kind of tree, then I tried to add different tree as well. Yeah, good observation. At the moment, it's basically you can only pick one tree and then spray with it. But if you look at the grass system, you can pick multiple grass types, and when you spray, it randomly chooses between the grass items you've selected. We're going to use the same technique for trees. So if you pick 2 different kinds of fir tree that you want, it will randomly choose between the 2 and spray them. So look out for that in a future build. And I think that should do it. Obviously, you can still select individual trees and place them individually if you want that level of control. But I think most people, when they're in a large forest area, not going to be interested in dropping trees down one at a time. So what you'll do, you'll pick, let's say it's the rainforest, you'll have 4 or 5 different sort of creeper style trees. Just select them all and then set your brush density and then just spray and let the game maker do all the intricacies of figuring out the best place to put the trees and the spacing and all the rest of it. So that's the goal. But right now you can only pick one tree, you're right. But eventually be able to select multiple trees and then spray down those multiple trees. Another question has just popped in. Another question has popped in. From GJLS Lee: will you be able to make the hills look completely covered with trees if needed? Yes, absolutely. We procedurally select the best places for trees during the biome generation phase, the terrain generator, but you can then go in manually, select any trees you want, and just blanket everything. You can put trees underwater if you wanted to, but that will be your fault. It's a manual option. It's for you to choose to do or not. Question from Turn: will it be really easy to add your own models after release? It's really easy right now. Just go into the model importer, select an OBJ or an FBX or a GLTF, and then you get to preview it. You can set some properties, you can change the rotation, orientation, the scale, and then you press import. It adds it to your object library, creates a thumbnail for it, and you can drop it straight into your GameGuru MAX level, pre-configured and ready to go. So we already have that. Certainly check it out. You'll find it in the object library section. So that's it for today. We're at 19 minutes into the hour, so I would call this a shorter broadcast than as usual, but I hope it was still enjoyable. Plenty more things to show you. I'm looking forward to showing you those things as usual. It will be Wednesday, 4 p.m. GMT. So I will be here, and I will be here all through Christmas. Don't worry, I will be sneaking off to enjoy the festivities. My mission is GameGuru MAX, and I want to make sure that you get your regular dose of what's going on behind the scenes. So until next week, I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I shall say goodbye.